Commander Alan Rogers stared through the viewport of the EDS horizon as the massive alien station came into view. After 3 weeks of travel through the darkness of space, humanity's first diplomatic mission beyond their solar system had reached its destination. The Vexari Confederacy awaited them. Final approach, Captain Ethan Murphy announced from the pilot's seat. His voice was steady, but his tight grip on the controls betrayed his nervousness. "Remember," Alan said to his team, "we represent all of Earth today." Dr. Lisa Wright nodded as she adjusted her uniform. As the mission's xenolinguist, she had spent the journey studying the limited Vexari communications they had received. Their language patterns suggest a highly structured society. Status matters to them. The ship docked with a gentle thud. Alan took a deep breath and smoothed down his dark blue uniform. In 2157, after centuries of scientific struggle, humanity had finally achieved faster-than-light travel. The discovery had brought attention from beyond the stars. The Vexari Confederacy, an alliance of 7 advanced alien species, had made contact almost immediately. "Atmospheric readings normal," reported the ship's engineer Sam Kelly. "We can breathe their air." "Good," Alan replied. "Let's not wear the helmets. We want to show trust." The airlock hissed open. Alan led his team of 6 through the connection, tube and into the alien station. The corridor opened into a vast chamber with a ceiling that seemed impossibly high. The walls glowed with a soft purple light. 5 aliens waited for them. The Vexari stood nearly 7 feet tall with slender bodies, covered in pale blue scales. Their forearms ended in 6-fingered hands, and their large eyes had vertical pupils that narrowed as they watched the humans approach. Alan stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we extend greetings of peace and friendship to the Vexari Confederacy." The translator device at his collar converted his words. After a brief pause, the tallest Vexari moved forward. "We receive your delegation, Earth creatures," the alien spoke, its voice translated into a metallic English. "I am High Counselor Zanvor of the Vexari Confederacy." Lisa noticed the slight emphasis on high in the translation. She whispered to Alan, "They're establishing dominance in their greeting." Alan nodded slightly but maintained his diplomatic smile. "Please join us." Zanvor gestured with its upper right arm toward a raised platform with several curved seats. The humans followed, trying not to stare at the strange technology that filled the chamber. Floating displays showed star charts and data streams that moved too quickly to follow. Smaller Vexari worked at stations around the room, occasionally glancing at the human visitors. Once seated, Alan began his prepared speech about Earth's history and hopes for peaceful exchange of knowledge and culture. He was interrupted by a sharp clicking sound that the translator identified as laughter. "Forgive me," Zanvor said, not sounding apologetic at all. "It is just that your species seems so quaint." Alan paused. "I'm not sure I understand." Another Vexari, introduced as Science Minister Drelkax, stepped forward. "Your technology is primitive by our standards. Your ship's engines are inefficient. Your communication systems are basic. Even your bodies are limited, only 2 arms and such fragile skin." Lisa watched Alan's face carefully. His jaw tightened, but his expression remained neutral. "We are a young spacefaring civilization," Alan acknowledged. "We have much to learn." "Indeed," Zanvor agreed too quickly. "Which is why we propose that Earth join the Confederacy as a protectorate." "A protectorate?" Alan asked. "We would provide guidance," Drelkax explained. "Help your species avoid the mistakes others have made. In exchange, your planet would supply certain resources that are valuable to us." Alan shared a quick glance with Lisa. This was not the equal partnership they had hoped for. "What specific resources would interest you?" asked Sam Kelly. "Your planet is rich in rare minerals, particularly those in your ocean floors," answered Drelkax. "And we find some of your biological diversity useful for our medical research." As the conversation continued, Lisa noticed something odd. The Vexari were speaking to each other in their native language between translations, clearly not expecting the humans to understand. But Lisa had studied harder than they knew. They were discussing something called neural patterns, with great interest. Alan maintained his diplomatic tone throughout the meeting, even as the Vexari continued to make remarks about human limitations. They showed examples of their advanced technology, weapons that could disintegrate matter, medical devices that could regrow limbs, ships that could fold space itself. "And what is this device?" Alan asked, pointing to a small pyramid on Zanvor's wrist. "A simple scanner," the alien replied dismissively. "It reads various energy signatures." Lisa noticed that all the Vexari wore similar devices, and they seemed to be actively scanning the humans throughout the meeting. After 6 hours of talks, the humans were escorted back to their ship. Once the airlock sealed behind them, Alan finally let his diplomatic mask slip. "Well, that was humiliating," he said, loosening his collar. "They don't respect us at all," Sam added. Lisa was quiet, reviewing her notes. "They scanned us the entire time," she finally said. "I think they're particularly interested in our brains for some reason." Alan nodded. "I noticed that too, and their offer of protection sounds more like colonization." "What do we do?" asked Ethan, who had stayed with the ship during the meeting. "We go home," Alan decided. "Report everything, but while they're watching, we act grateful for their interest." The next day, they met briefly with the Vexari again. Alan thanked them for their generous offer and promised to bring it to Earth's leaders. As they departed, Zanvor's final words were translated for them. "We look forward to welcoming Earth into the Confederacy. You have much to learn from us, little humans." As the EDS Horizon pulled away from the station, Lisa joined Alan at the viewport. "They're dangerous," she said quietly. "They see us as resources, not partners." Alan nodded. "But they also underestimate us. Did you notice how they showed off their technology but never explained how it works? They think we couldn't understand." "That might be our advantage," Lisa replied. "They laughed at us today, but they don't know what humans are capable of when challenged." The ship accelerated toward home, carrying warning and possibility in equal measure. Behind them, the alien station grew smaller, a glittering threat in the darkness. The Vexari had laughed at Earth, not knowing that soon, very soon, their skies would turn red. 6 months had passed since the EDS Horizon returned from its meeting with the Vexari. Earth's leaders had listened carefully to Commander Rogers' report and decided on a strategy: appear cooperative, but prepare in secret. Dr. Jack Morrison stared at the brain scans on his laboratory screen. As the lead scientist at the Earth Defense Initiative, he had been studying the electromagnetic patterns produced by human neural activity. "Show me the comparison again," he said to his assistant. The screen split to show human brain patterns next to those of various Earth animals, and the limited data they had on Vexari biology. "It's like nothing else," his assistant remarked. "Human brains produce unique electromagnetic signatures." Jack nodded. And the Vexari seemed very interested in this, according to Dr. Wright's observations. Across the city, Admiral Olivia Hayes walked through an underground facility where Earth's new defense fleet was being built. The ships looked conventional from the outside but contained technology that hadn't been revealed to the Vexari. "How soon until the orbital platforms are ready?" she asked the project manager. 4 months, Admiral. We're ahead of schedule." "Good. The Vexari delegation arrives in 3. Meanwhile, in a small workshop outside the city, Ben Collins tinkered with what looked like a metal hemisphere about the size of a basketball. Unlike the massive government projects, Ben's work was funded by his own savings from years as an engineer. He had become obsessed with an idea after reading the public reports about the Vexari encounter. "If their technology is so advanced," he muttered to himself, "there must be a weakness we haven't seen yet." The device on his workbench hummed as he adjusted its settings. It was designed to amplify human neural patterns, a project that had started as a hobby but was quickly becoming something more. Ben's phone rang. "Mr. Collins. This is Dr. Morrison from EDI. I'd like to talk about your patent application." 2 weeks later, Ben stood in Jack Morrison's laboratory watching as scientists tested his device. "It works," Jack said, sounding surprised. It actually amplifies neural signals by a factor of 10. The prototype is limited, Ben explained. It only works with one person at a time, and the range is just this room. But theoretically, it could be scaled up, Jack finished the thought. That same day in the United Earth Government headquarters, President Karen Martinez met with Commander Rogers and Dr. Wright. The Vexari transmission says they're sending a diplomatic delegation to continue discussions about Earth joining their confederacy, the president said. Alan Rogers frowned. They still think we're eager to become their protectorate. Let them think that, Lisa Wright suggested. The more they underestimate us, the better. President Martinez nodded. Dr. Morrison has made a breakthrough that might give us an advantage, but we need time to develop it. Then we'll give you time, Alan promised. We'll keep the negotiations going as long as possible. 3 months later, a Vexari ship entered Earth orbit. Unlike the previous meeting in deep space, this time the aliens were coming to Earth itself. The landing site had been prepared carefully, an impressive display of Earth's conventional technology, but nothing that would alarm the visitors. Admiral Hayes had hidden the real defenses underground and on the far side of the moon. The Vexari ship was elegant and silent as it descended. It was much larger than the EDS Horizon, with a surface that seemed to ripple like water despite being solid metal. Ambassador Zithkral led the alien delegation, taller than the other Vexari. With darker blue scales, he walked with forearms clasped behind his back in what humans had learned was a sign of superiority. Earth welcomes the representatives of the Vexari Confederacy, President Martinez said, through a translator. We are pleased to see your world, Zithkral replied, though his vertical pupils narrowed as he surveyed the modest, welcoming area. I had expected your main city to be more developed. We are still recovering from climate challenges in the last century, the president explained smoothly. This was partly true, but Earth's cities were far more advanced than what they were, showing the Vexari. Over the next week, Earth showed its visitors carefully selected sites, farms, factories, and research facilities that appeared only modestly advanced. In private meetings, the Vexari became increasingly direct about their intentions. Your solar system contains resources valuable to the Confederacy, Zithkral stated during one session. Your cooperation would benefit both our peoples. And, if we choose not to join your Confederacy? Admiral Hayes asked directly. Zithkral's four hands made a gesture that the translator didn't capture. There would be consequences. Not all species understand what is best for them initially. While these talks continued, Dr. Morrison and Ben Collins worked day and night on what was now called the Morrison-Collins Shield. In a secure facility deep under the North American continent, they had scaled up Ben's prototype significantly. The problem is power, Ben explained to Admiral Hayes during her inspection. To cover even a small city would require enormous energy. Jack Morrison stepped forward. But we found something interesting. When multiple humans are connected to the system, the effect isn't just additive, it's multiplicative. Meaning? The Admiral asked. Meaning that with enough people, the power requirements become manageable, Ben said. The shield would harness the neural patterns of everyone within its radius. On the final day of the Vexari visit, Earth's leaders gathered to deliver their response to the Confederacy's offer. After careful consideration, President Martinez announced, Earth has decided that while we value our relationship with the Vexari Confederacy, we are not ready to become a protectorate at this time. Zithkral's scales darkened, a sign the humans now recognized as anger. This is unfortunate. The Confederacy's offer was quite generous. We hope to continue diplomatic relations, Alan Rogers added quickly. Perhaps in time our positions will align more closely. The Vexari ambassador rose to his full height. We will report your decision to the Confederacy Council. They will reconsider their generous offer. As the Vexari ship departed Earth orbit, Admiral Hayes turned to the president. They'll be back, and not for more talks. How much time do we have? The president asked. Based on their ship's capabilities, 3 months at most, Admiral Hayes replied. President Martinez nodded grimly. Then we have 3 months to prepare for war. Dr. Samantha Green had been watching the edge of the solar system for weeks. As the head astrophysicist at Earth's main observatory, she was the first to notice the strange energy readings. "There it is again," she said to her team as the computer screen flashed with data. "Something big is moving out there." She picked up the secure phone and dialed a number she had memorized. "Admiral Hayes? We have activity at the edge of the system, multiple objects moving faster than anything natural." 2 hours later, the Earth Defense Council gathered in their underground headquarters. The room was filled with screens showing data from space monitoring stations around the world. "How many ships, Senor?" President Martinez asked. "At least 50 large vessels," Samantha replied, "possibly more behind them." General Frank Patterson, the tactical head of Earth Defense Forces, pointed to a 3-dimensional map of the solar system. "They're approaching in a standard attack formation. This isn't a diplomatic mission." "We knew this was coming," Admiral Hayes said. "The question is, are we ready?" Jack Morrison stood up from his seat. "The Morrison-Collins shield is operational in theory, but we've never tested it at full scale. We'll need to link it to power grids across the globe." "How long until they reach Earth?" the president asked. 5 days at their current speed," Samantha answered. President Martinez looked around the room at Earth's leaders. "Then we have 5 days to complete our preparations. General Patterson, deploy all defense forces according to your plan. Dr. Morrison, I want the shield ready in 4 days." As everyone moved to carry out their orders, a communication officer rushed into the room. "Madam President, we've received an encrypted message from Agent Reyes." Daniel Reyes had been Earth's best hope for inside information. 3 months earlier, he had managed to infiltrate a Vexari supply ship as a maintenance worker from one of their allied species. His human features had been disguised with synthetic skin to make him look like a member of the Juraxian species, who had joined the Confederacy years ago. The message was brief but important. Vexari fleet commanded by Admiral Kelthax. 12. Worlds previously conquered. They jam communication, then attack from orbit before landing troops. Standard practice is to target military first, then population centers. No prisoners taken in previous conquests. "At least we know their playbook," General Patterson said grimly. Around the world, humans prepared. Military units moved into hidden bunkers. Civilians were told about possible communication disruptions, but not about the coming invasion. Earth's leaders had decided that panic would only make things worse. In orbit, Earth's small fleet of defensive satellites was reinforced. They wouldn't last long against the Vexari, but they weren't meant to. They were just the first layer of Earth's defense. Major Nicole Foster supervised the final preparations on the largest orbital platform. "All weapon systems online," she reported to Admiral Hayes. "Though they won't make much difference against their technology." "They're not supposed to," the Admiral replied. "Just make it look good." On Earth, Ben Collins worked with teams around the world to install his technology in key locations. The final component would be installed in the main control center, where Dr. Ryan Edwards would operate the system. "How will it feel?" Ryan asked as Ben connected the last wires. "Based on our tests, you'll feel a slight tingling sensation as the system reads your neural patterns," Ben explained. "When we connect to the global network, you might sense other minds connected to the system, but it won't hurt." "And it will stop their technology?" Ryan asked. "That's the theory," Ben replied. "Their tech seems to be sensitive to our neural patterns. This system should amplify those patterns enough to disrupt their systems." On the 4th day, Earth received a message from the approaching Vexari fleet. "People of Earth," the translated voice of Admiral Kelthax boomed through communication systems worldwide. "Your rejection of Confederacy protection has been noted. This is your final opportunity to surrender without resistance. Join us willingly, and your civilization will be preserved as a productive part of our Confederacy." President Martinez met with the Defense Council to craft their response. "We need to stall for time," she said. "The shield needs another 12 hours. The message they sent back was carefully worded. "The people of Earth are surprised by your approach. We believed negotiations were ongoing. We request time to prepare our civilization for integration with your Confederacy." The reply came quickly. You will have 24 Earth hours to prepare. Any signs of military activity will be considered. Hostile action. They fell for it, General Patterson said after the transmission ended. They think we're weak and scared, Admiral Hayes added. Let's use that. For the next 24 hours, Earth showed signs of panicked preparation. Civilian ships moved in patterns that looked disorganized. Military units appeared to scramble for position. It all looked like the chaotic response of a primitive civilization facing a superior force. But beneath the surface, Earth was ready. In his hidden bunker, Tyler Garcia huddled with his family. As a civilian caught in what would soon be a war zone, he had been given minimal information, just enough to know he should stay in the shelter until the all-clear signal. Will we be safe here? His daughter asked. Yes, he assured her, hoping it was true. The government says these bunkers can withstand anything. What he didn't know was that the bunker's walls contained components of the Morrison-Collins shield, and that he and his family were part of its power source. As the 24-hour deadline approached, President Martinez addressed the world. Citizens of Earth, we face a challenge unlike any in human history. Stay in your designated areas. Follow instructions from authorities. Remember that unity is our strength. In orbit, Major Foster and her crew watched as the Vexari fleet entered the inner solar system. The alien ships were massive, shaped like arrowheads and glowing with strange energy. Admiral Kelthak sent his final message. Your time has expired. The Confederacy claims this system and all its resources. Resistance is not advised. Earth's response was simple. We request peaceful integration and ask for landing coordinates for your forces. The Vexari Admiral's laugh was translated through the system. Sensible for primitives, prepare to receive our forces. As the Vexari ships moved into position around Earth, Admiral Hayes gave the order that had been planned for months. Spring the trap. Above Earth, Major Foster's fingers hovered over the control panel. Ready on your command, Admiral. And as the first Vexari ships began their attack runs, Dr. Ryan Edwards placed his hands on the activation panel of the Morrison-Collins shield. The sky was about to turn red. The Vexari ships filled Earth's skies like dark stars. Their weapons powered up with a blue glow that cast eerie shadows across the land below. In orbiting defense platforms, human crews braced for the coming attack. Major Nicole Foster watched her display as the first Vexari weapons fired. Incoming, she shouted. The energy blasts tore through Earth's conventional satellites and the first layer of defense platforms. Explosions lit up the orbital space around Earth. It looked like a complete disaster for humanity's defenses. First layer breached, Nicole reported calmly to Admiral Hayes. Casualties minimal. Most crews evacuated as planned. On the Vexari, command ship, Admiral Kelthax watched with satisfaction. Their defenses are even weaker than anticipated, he told his officers. Begin the landing sequence. Hundreds of smaller Vexari craft detached from the larger ships and headed toward Earth's surface. They carried thousands of Vexari soldiers ready to claim the planet. They've taken the bait, General Patterson said as he watched the alien landing ships approach. All units maintain position. Do not engage until the signal. In bunkers around the world, civilians huddled together. Tyler Garcia held his daughter close as they felt the vibrations of Vexari ships passing overhead. It's going to be okay, he whispered, though he wasn't sure if it was true. In the control center deep underground, Dr. Ryan Edwards sat at the main console of the Morrison-Collins shield. The system hummed with power drawn from energy plants across the planet. Ben Collins stood nearby, checking the final connections. All systems are ready, Ben reported to President Martinez. Shield coverage will extend globally once activated. Wait for my command, the president replied, watching the screens showing the Vexari invasion force. We need as many of them committed to the attack as possible. The first Vexari troops landed in what had appeared to be Earth's main military command centers, empty shells that had been prepared as decoys. Admiral Kelthax broadcast his victory message to every communication device on Earth. People of Earth, the alien's voice announced. Your defenses have fallen. Your military leaders are either dead or will soon be captured. The Confederacy now controls your world." The Admiral's tone became mocking. "Your primitive species will serve the Confederacy. Your resistance was predictable and futile." President Martinez looked at the others in the command center. "Now," she ordered. Dr. Edwards pressed his hands on the activation panel. The Morrison Collins shield powered up with a low hum that quickly grew louder. Energy readings spiked across the monitoring screens as the system connected to installation points around the world. "Neural pattern amplification beginning," Ben reported as lights flashed across the control boards. "Connecting to global network." In his bunker, Tyler Garcia felt a strange tingling sensation in his head. Around the world, every human experienced the same feeling as their neural patterns were read and amplified by the shield. On the surface of the planet, the sky began to change color. First pink, then orange, and finally a deep, pulsing red that spread across the entire globe like a second atmosphere. The Morrison Collins shield was online, powered by the combined neural patterns of 8 billion human minds. In the Vexari, landing ships' confusion spread quickly. Their weapons stopped working. Their communication devices went silent. Even their personal shields flickered and died. "What is happening?" a Vexari soldier asked as his equipment failed around him. On the command ship, Admiral Kelthax stared in disbelief at the red glow now surrounding Earth. "Impossible," he whispered. "They're just primitives." Major Foster watched from her orbital platform as the Vexari ships began to drift aimlessly, their engines no longer functioning. "The shield is working," she reported. "Enemy ships are disabled." "Launcho." "Phase 2, Admiral Hayes ordered. Hidden bay doors opened on the moon's surface, revealing Earth's real defensive fleet. The ships were smaller than the Vexari vessels, but moved with precision and purpose. They had been designed to function perfectly under the shield's influence, powered by human neural patterns rather than disrupted by them. The Earth ships approached, the disabled Vexari fleet. Major Foster led the first wave of the counterattack. "All ships target enemy weapon systems first," she ordered. "We want surrenders, not destruction if possible." On the planet's surface, hidden bunkers opened to reveal Earth's ground forces. They wielded weapons that looked simple, but had been carefully designed to work with the red shield. The Vexari troops, without their advanced technology, were quickly surrounded. Some fought with physical strength, their forearms giving them an advantage in close combat, but they were outnumbered and outplanned. In the command center, President Martinez watched the battle unfold. "How long can we maintain the shield?" she asked. "Indefinitely," Dr. Edwards replied. His eyes closed as he focused on the system. "The power requirements stabilized once we reached full global coverage. The neural patterns of the entire human population are powering it now." Within hours, the tide had completely turned. Vexari ships hung powerless in orbit, while Earth forces methodically disabled and captured them. On the ground, most Vexari troops had surrendered, shocked by the failure of their technology. Admiral Kelthax was brought to Earth under heavy guard. His vertical pupils widened in surprise when he was led into the human command center. "How?" he demanded. "Your species was primitive. Our scans showed minimal technology." Dr. Lisa Wright stepped forward. "You scanned our technology, but underestimated our biology," she explained. "Human neural patterns generate unique electromagnetic fields your technology can't handle when amplified." Ben Collins added, "We noticed your interest in our brains during first contact. It wasn't hard to guess that there was something special about them that concerned you." "Impossible," the Admiral insisted. "No species has developed such defense. The Confederacy has conquered 12 worlds. Make that 11, President Martinez said firmly. Earth is not conquered, and soon those other worlds will be free too." The Vexari Admiral stared at the red sky visible on the monitors. The color that had meant doom for his invasion force. The same red that now filled the atmosphere around Earth like a protective cocoon. "You laughed at us," Admiral Hayes told him. "You called us primitive. You never bothered to understand what humans are capable of when threatened." The red sky pulsed overhead, a testament to humanity's hidden strength and the power of 8 billion minds working as one. 2 weeks after the failed invasion, Earth was still bathed in the red glow of the Morrison-Collins shield. Most Vexari ships had been captured intact. Their crews were held in special facilities designed to contain beings stronger than humans. Commander Alan Rogers stood in the meeting room aboard the former Vexari flagship. The ship had been renamed the EDS Defender, and now served as the location for peace talks. The delegation is ready, Dr. Lisa Wright informed him as she entered the room. In the days following the battle, she had worked tirelessly to improve their understanding of the Vexari language and culture. "What's your assessment?" Alan asked. "They're scared," Lisa replied. "They never imagined defeat was possible. Their entire society was built on the belief of their superiority." The doors opened, and Vexari counselor Zexmara entered. Unlike the arrogant Zanvor from their first meeting, Zexmara moved cautiously. His forearms were held close to his body in what Lisa had identified as a submissive posture. "We recognize Earth's right to speak as equals," the counselor said without being prompted. The translator device no longer gave his words a metallic edge. Earth had improved that technology too. "Not as equals," Alan corrected. "You invaded our world. You threatened our people. The terms will reflect that reality." President Martinez joined them, accompanied by Admiral Hayes and Dr. Morrison. The human delegation sat across from the 3 Vexari representatives. "The Confederacy Council has authorized me to negotiate terms," Zexmara stated. "Before we discuss terms," President Martinez said, "we want answers. Why did you believe humans would be so easy to conquer?" The Vexari counselor's scales shifted color slightly. Lisa whispered to Alan, "That's their sign of embarrassment. In our history," Zexmara explained, "we have encountered many species. None possessed neural patterns like humans. We noticed this unique trait during first contact but did not understand its significance." Jack Morrison leaned forward. "You mean you didn't realize we could amplify those patterns?" "We did not believe it was possible," another Vexari admitted. "Our scientists thought your brains were simply an anomaly, not a weapon." "Not a weapon," Dr. Morrison corrected. "A shield. There's a difference." While the peace talks continued on the ship, Earth was changing. The red shield had unexpected effects on human technology. Devices operated more efficiently. Communications became clearer. Even medical equipment worked better, as if the combined neural energy of humanity enhanced everything it touched. Ben Collins and Dr. Ryan Edwards worked with scientists around the world to understand these effects. "It's like the shield isn't just protecting us from outside threats," Ben observed as they studied the data. "It's making everything we built work better." "And it's stable," Ryan added. "The system is self-sustaining now. Each human contributes a tiny amount of neural energy, too small to notice individually, but together, it's enough to power the entire shield indefinitely," Ben finished. Back in the peace talks, the negotiations had reached their final stages. Commander Rogers presented the terms to Counselor Zexmara. "First, the Vexari Confederacy will acknowledge Earth as a sovereign power, not subject to your authority. Second, you will provide technology and assistance to help free the worlds you've conquered. Third, you will establish an embassy on Earth where we can continue diplomatic relations as equals." The Vexari counselor looked shocked. "You would still allow us to maintain relations?" "After our attack?" Lisa Wright spoke up. "Humans believe in second chances, counselor. We don't seek to destroy the Confederacy, only to change its nature." "And if we refuse these terms?" the Vexari asked. Admiral Hayes gestured to a screen showing Earth's new fleet, built from captured Vexari ships combined with human technology. "We now understand your technology better than you understand ours. The choice is yours." The Vexari delegates conferred briefly in their own language, though Lisa could now understand much of it. They were discussing how quickly the humans had adapted their technology and how dangerous it would be to refuse. "The Confederacy accepts your terms," Zexmara finally said. As news of the agreement spread across Earth, celebrations broke out in cities worldwide. The red sky that had once seemed ominous now felt protective, a visible sign of humanity's united strength. Tyler Garcia and his family stood outside their home, looking up at the pulsing red glow. "Dad, will the sky stay red forever?" his daughter asked. "I don't know," he answered honestly, "but I'm not afraid of it anymore." In the following months, Earth began to establish contact with other species that had been conquered by the Vexari. Many had lost hope after generations under Confederacy control. The news of Earth's victory spread like wildfire among the stars. President Martinez addressed the United Earth government about their new role in the galaxy. "We have an opportunity and a responsibility. Other worlds look to us now as liberators and protectors. We must not become what we defeated." Commander Alan Rogers was appointed as Earth's first galactic ambassador. Before departing on his mission to visit the former Vexari subject worlds, he spoke with Dr. Lisa Wright. "Did you ever imagine our first contact would lead to this?" he asked. Lisa shook her head. "No one could have predicted this outcome. The Vexari certainly didn't." "That was their mistake," Alan said. "They saw our technology and decided we were primitive. They never looked deeper." A month after the peace agreement, a Vexari scientist was permitted to study the Morrison-Collins shield under strict supervision. After seeing the system in operation, she requested a meeting with the Earth Defense Council. "We never understood what made humans different," she explained. "Every species develops along similar paths, first tools, then machines, then advanced technology. But humans develop something else first: connection. Your neural patterns are designed to work together, to amplify each other." "Is that unusual?" Dr. Morrison asked. "It is unique in our experience," the scientist replied. "Most species evolve competitive advantages. Yours evolved cooperative ones. As Earth's influence spread through the galaxy, the red shield remained active, though scaled back to reduce its visibility. It served as both protection and reminder Earth would not be threatened again." In the Vexari Confederacy Council chambers, a new mural was installed. It showed a planet with a red sky and a simple warning in multiple languages: "Remember Earth." The final line, added at the insistence of those who had witnessed Earth's rise firsthand, read, "They laughed at us too, until their sky turned red."